There you go, buddy. There you go. There you go, eat up. Eat up. Hey, Bubba. Hey. Here. Yeah, don't get between a pig and his food. There you go. Give you a little dressing. What do you think? Hey everyone, this is Andrew at Plainview Farm. Today's video is one that, I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of ashamed to be making. But, you know, life happens. Stuff happens. Anyway, old Dan, our boar, has a pretty severe worm infection, worm load, infestation, whatever you want to call it. And he's looking pretty rough. Actually, he's kind of weak. He's lost a bunch of weight. You can tell by looking at him that his skin is pale underneath all that hair. The hair doesn't look good. There's obviously mud and dirt and junk sticking to him. He looks pretty rough. And the reason is, I guess, because I didn't catch it fast enough. So I guess I'll fill you in on what's been going on over the last couple weeks. I messed my back up. I'm not exactly sure what I did, but I know that every day it's been painful to move around all that much. So when it comes to chores, I've been doing basically what I had to do, what I could do, and my wife and the kids have been taking care of everything else, which includes feeding the pigs. And it wasn't until last night that I came out here, was feeling a little better, came out here and saw old Dan, and he didn't look all that great. Which I don't want you to think that I'm blaming my family at all. You know, they do a great job helping out on the farm. This is a family endeavor. We all work together. We don't blame one another whenever things go wrong. In fact, you know, I blame myself for not giving them a good idea of what to be looking for whenever they come out and feed the pigs and check on the pigs. And so that, you know, that's my failure, you know, if we're going to point any fingers. So Dan he's been weak. Actually, last night whenever I came out here, he wasn't moving around all that well. He's been kind of just laying down all by himself. Last night and today, I've been pretty worried about him. You know, he's a good boar. Dan has been a really good boar. He's coming up on 2 years old, so you know, it's not like he's old and got health problems. He's a good pig, and I definitely don't want to lose him. But I didn't have any wormer on hand, which is another failure on my part. So last night, what I did give him, and I actually just gave him some of this a little bit ago, this is Red Cell. It's an iron supplement for horses. It's an iron-rich vitamin for horses. But I don't have horses. I do have a couple donkeys, but I don't have any horses. And I bought this actually for the goats, but I give it to the pigs too whenever they're in a tight spot. And old Dan, you know, is that. He could definitely use the iron supplement. So I sprinkled some of that in his feed last night, and actually, you probably just saw I sprinkled some in his feed here today to give him a little iron boost. And actually, he's been doing better today than he was last night. You know, I've tried to make sure that he's had plenty of feed, good clean water, those kinds of things. That, you know, try to do that anyway. But we're trying to get him back, you know, into a good, healthy state. So today I did go to the feed store and I bought some pelletized oral medicated feed, some wormer for him. And you actually, what you do is you take this stuff and you mix it in with their regular feed. You know, you weigh it all out. You know, there's a certain, you know, formula that you weigh it out and mix it all up in order to get the right dosage in their daily feed ration. And the feed store that I use, they sell it by the pound. You just go in there and you get a paper sack and you scoop it into the paper sack and away you go. So we mixed that up. We got that in for him here today. So he's getting which I gave him a little heavier dose today. So he's getting a pretty good dose of wormer today, and we're going to feed this to him until it runs out. It should be roughly about a week's worth to feed him this wormer. Then we're going to, once we do that, then we're going to move his pen and worm him again. Now, of course, you know, I am worried about his health. I'm worried about his condition. Hopefully things have not gotten, you know, to the point that it's hard to get him back where he needs to be. We definitely don't want to lose this hog. He's a great boar hog, very gentle. You don't have any trouble with him, working him, anything like that. He's just too good of a hog to lose. But like I said, we'll get all this feed through him and try to get the worms out of his system. And like I said, then we'll move him to another spot in order to try to get him onto some fresh ground. At which time I will probably worm him again with a different type of wormer. The wormer that I usually use is actually water soluble. You put it in their drinking water. It works great. But like I said, I waited too long for Dan here, so I wanted to get this medicated feed stuff into him pretty quick. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to worm the other pigs. I'm going to mix up water for them, mix this up. I'm going to show you how I do that. This is a pretty common wormer. You can pick it up at most any feed store. At least I've seen it at most any feed store. And I've had really, really good luck with it. So the water soluble wormer that I use is this right here. It's Levamed. Soluble pig wormer for use in drinking water. There's some powder in here. You fill it up. There's a line up here on the top. You fill it up to this line, and you shake it up. You mix the stuff in, and then you measure out so much, and put that in the water. And like with anything, I would encourage you always read the directions, follow the directions, if you want the product to work properly. Whether it's this kind of stuff. Whether it's a medicated feed or, an injectable. Again, follow the directions if you want it to work like it's supposed to. So, there's my little announcement, I guess. So, this says on the directions that I need to pull out 10 mLs or 10 cc's of the solution from this bottle for 1 gallon of water. And that is 1 gallon of water for each 100 pounds of body weight of animals or pigs to be treated. I'm guessing that I've got, 1,300 pounds of weight standing out here that I need to treat with these pigs, with my sows and then the feeder pigs that I've got going here. So I'm gonna pull out 13 mLs or 13 cc's and mix in with 13 gallons of water, or 130 mLs or 130 cc's to mix in with 13 gallons of water. That's what I meant. So in order to measure it out, I've got my goat worming syringe and a 5-gallon bucket. It's not going to be exact, but we're going to be close-ish. The first thing I'm going to do is rinse out my 5-gallon bucket here. Get it cleanish. Looks good to me. So actually what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put 15 gallons. We're going to pull up 150 mLs of this stuff. So here's 10 gallons. And here's 15. Perfect. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let these pigs drink from this trough here over the next few days. Yeah, you know, this probably isn't the best thing to do, but I know that they will all drink from this and they'll drink from it well. That's why I pulled the barrel waterer out, because I want it to be easy water to access. You know, the stuff, it says, the wormer says, you know, to make sure that this is the only water they have access to. Well, the problem with that is if you raise your pigs outside, you know, it rains, it snows, and you end up with water on the ground. So I want water, I want this to be easy for them to access, easy for them to get to. Come on up here, Scarlett, get yourself a big old slurp. See, there we go. Scarlett's already, she's already taken advantage of the situation. I don't know if you can tell, but her belly is big and fat. She's already starting to make me think that that she's going to have some babies, hopefully in March. Anyway, as I said, this, you know, we're doing the best with what we got here. So we're going to let them drink this out over the next couple days, and then we'll put them back on regular water, and you know, everything should be fine after that. That should clear any worms that they have in their system. I'm not seeing anything in these other pigs, but you know, with Dan being in the shape that he's in, I definitely don't want to, you know, wait around for somebody else to start showing signs, start having problems. So we'll get these pigs taken care of as well. All right, Scarlett's going to come out and stand over here with me while I talk. Anyway, so I mentioned before, this is obviously a video that I'm not very proud to be making, but you know, that's life on a farm or a homestead. You know, if you're raising animals, things are not always going to go perfectly, unfortunately. You know, you try to plan, try to think of any potential problems that you might run into. You know, try to prepare yourself for any difficult situations that might arise. But at the end of the day, it's hard to plan for everything. You know, like I said, I didn't do a very good job telling my wife and my kids, telling my family what they needed to be watching for with these pigs. You know, things that might clue them into something's going on. And you know, in their defense as well, you know, they're kind of in a hurry. You know, we have busy lives, we've got young kids, we work jobs. You know, we're trying to do this as well as live our regular lives all at the same time. So, you know, sometimes you're in a rush and you don't watch things maybe as closely as you otherwise would. So, like I said, hopefully we're going to get Dan all whipped back into shape here and try to make sure that this, you know, this kind of situation doesn't happen again. Either way, like I said, that's life on a farm. So I appreciate you all watching. If you found this video to be enjoyable, found it to be useful, I hope you would consider hitting that like button or subscribing to our channel if you have not yet. Again, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.